Roop is an extension for Stable Diffusion that allows you to transfer faces from one character to another, and in this video, I'll be breaking down and demonstrating this amazing tool in action so you can spend less time reading and more time creating. But first of all, a quick shout out to all the supporters over on Patreon. Like the video and give it to me bite-sized. So in order to install Roop, you will need a few prerequisites first, primarily Visual Studio Community with Python development, desktop development for C++, and Visual Studio extension development workloads. Once these are installed, you will want to open up command prompt by typing cmd into your search bar and pip install insight face == 0.7.3, which will install the final prerequisite for Roop. Then once that's finished, you can open up Stable Diffusion and on the Extensions tab, install the extension either through the URL provided or by booting up the extension index and searching for Roop in the list of available extensions. So now that we have Roop installed, let's explore the features by generating some beautiful women and making them even better with the help of Nicolas Cage. So starting off with the image section, this is where you can place the photo of the face that you want to use in your image generation. I'm using the beautiful Nicolas Cage, and the more clear and focused your photo is, the better your results will be. The Enable option will turn on the extension and allow the Roop to influence your image. Comma-separated face numbers is used to tell Roop how many faces you want the image to be applied to in the generated image from left to right, by using commas to separate values starting from 0 and then increasing by 1 for each face in the photo. So if there were 2 faces in your image, you can use 0, 1 in this section for the image to be applied to both faces. Under Restore Face, there are a few options for face restoration models, including the option to use none of them, and this will provide you with different levels of quality when adding a face to your generated image and then restoring that face. Using this option is important because without using Restore Face, you may find that your face swaps have unwanted artifacts or low quality. Restore Visibility determines the strength of the Restore Face option on the generated image, with lower values reducing the strength and higher values increasing the strength. The Upscaler will allow you to upscale or increase the quality of your images by using a specified model for the upscaling, such as SGRAND4X. This is no different to the Upscaler under High-Res Fix or in the Extras tab. The Upscaler Scale will determine the value by which the size of your image should be multiplied by before generating the fresh image to the specified resolution. The Upscaler Visibility will determine the strength of the upscaler on your image if your Upscaler Scale is equal to the minimum value of 1. You can see the slight difference in these photos. Model specifies the location of the Open Neural Network Exchange file, which is essentially a deep learning model the extension uses to perform its task. You can also use Roop with a variety of control net options. For example, if we use this picture of Rihanna with depth to get the pose we like, but we use the face of Nicolas Cage, we can see that his face is plastered onto the image, and this works with a variety of control types. You can also use Roop in the Image to Image tab to make adjustments to pre-existing images and have better control over the blending. There are some additional use cases, so let's take a look at these in action. Swapping source image seems to modify the source image face with the generated image rather than modifying the generated image with the source image, although this seems to not function at all, but it's essentially a reverse of the swapping generated image, which is the default option. Now, swapping generated image, which is enabled by default, would ensure that the generated photo is affected by the face swap when the extension is enabled. This is the option you want turned on when you want to put a reference face onto a generated image. You can also use Roop in combination with Inpainting to adjust one or more faces with the reference photo provided by inpainting the face area and generating the new image. There's a handy trick I learned from Sebastian where you can install and use multiple copies of the Roop extension to perform the face swap for multiple reference images at once, which might save you some time when trying to do multiple characters. But to wrap things up, I think that covers all of the options under Roop, but do let me know if you want a more in-depth play around with the tool. Before you leave, I want to shout out the supporters over on Patreon and thank everyone for their support. Do drop a like before you leave the building and of course subscribe. This is Bite Size Genius and I hope you enjoyed.